Well, I wanted to do this video early in the year when this game officially saw 10 years of release. However, given the circumstances, now is as good a time as any, and also with this being like a taste of what some things are going to be seen about this character that I have in store October, or like a preview for me taking part in Bat Month again. So, with that in mind, with just over 10 years since initially debuted on June 23rd, 2015, on PC, Xbox One, and my personal favorite, the PS4, let's talk about how 10 years of Batman Arkham Knight to celebrate Batman Day. Let's begin. While at the time I definitely enjoyed the game, as I did the previous titles, a lot of people weren't sure what to think about it as a finale to the trilogy, especially given the high marks set by Arkham City previously. Since then, especially in light of recent live service disappointments, and it's since undergone reevaluation and is now seen as a worthy conclusion to the trilogy, and also quite the impressive achievement in open world games on its own right. And even at the time, I was one of the people most advocating for how it understood the assignment of portraying Gotham City itself, that the setting is much like the characters most inhabit it, where you have all these ornate statues combined with the steel and fiberglass as buildings that hands on LED displays. And I also especially enjoy how the tone actually is good over capturing the Halloween season. I know there's a lot of spooky games, but given how the inciting incident takes place on Halloween night, and I could tell that one of the key comic storylines that influenced the game was Loeb's Long Halloween, and it definitely he managed to capture that. And given the M rating, it certainly earns it. I mean, not just through like how like the not necessarily through a bunch of blood, but the violence certainly more intense than previous titles, and also the story, a lot of scenes that one, even their rationalizations that the story they wanted to tell, and I insinuated that would not harm the game at all financially. Quite the opposite, in fact. I just mean, it definitely has proven to be quite lucrative, and it ended up selling 1 million copies on launch day alone on PS4. I mean, I got mine a bit later since when I actually got the console, and especially when everything was happening about 5 years ago, I really started getting into it. Just really appreciates how much attention to detail there is, and not just as how big villains like things like Two-Face, the Riddler, and the Penguin are vying to fill a power vacuum left by the Joker, but also how it implements and other antagonists such as Deathstroke, Anarchy, and even how the idea of a rogue militia taking control of a major city was already pretty tense when the game first came out. Now it's not really a stretch anymore. As for how the game is built around using the Batmobile for traversal, and also has combat sections around it. At the time, while a lot of people thought it was a contentious feature, I'm also going to offer here, dropping, it actually might be one of my favorite aspects of it. Like, not just how you can get different skins representing different elements, like from the recent blockbuster movies, all the way back to a lot of older comic storylines, and all these stunt challenges centered around like the Nolan trilogy and the Burton films, and even more variants put in by modders. It's also very much gives me a vibe of being kind of like Burnout with the Batmobile, giving Ramsey to be captain, and how you can upgrade the weapon system as you progress, and even just take out quite a few, just like the standard Vulcan weapon. Rubber bullets, honest. And I can definitely tell that over time, more and more appreciation for this game's come around, and I'm glad to see that. I mean, I've seen my fair share of games that were overlooked in years past actually getting a second go round, and even games that were well received, people are still finding aspects that were overlooked at the first time this came out, and I definitely am glad that they left a positive impact and they say there's a bar a lot higher of quality. In fact, I am among the many people who was low-key excited for the new Lego Batman title, which looks like a spiritual successor to these games, which in many respects I was definitely that was among like my top choices for IPs alongside part of the bigger DC universe to get like the Star Wars Skyward Saga treatment for a Lego game, which builds upon what's done before and even having newer open world style elements. And other ones I had on my short list were, of course, Marvel, Middle Earth, and Jurassic World, to name a few. That's just off the top of my head, but hey, what do you know? So, as this is one of several works I have cooking related to who DC's arguably biggest name, I will indeed October. At the very least, I will not be that talkative for the first 3 days after I get my molars out, so I'm going to do my best to have those recorded in advance, and like bats, you gotta be prepared for any potential eventuality, no matter how. I won't get into too much detail, but the expansions I actually recently got on sale, he'll do suggest that the feel others are going to carry on this path. Including Robin, Nightwing, and the Red Hood, none of which I would oppose to who will be seen in the DCU. Heck, I'm still advocating for actually have Leslie have her day as Batgirl more than one. I mean, this is the internet. Nothing stays buried forever. At all. Anyway, I'm mainly doing this because the initial whole video I want to have out today is not quite ready yet. It's that it's not entirely because of all these shenanigans going on with Nexstar and Sinclair. But it is one thing that I've been taught in my life, especially over the last 5 years, like, no matter how unlikely it might be, always have a backup plan and for what you're doing in mind, or several. Always. In fact, some of the other incarnations I'll be talking about are going to reflect the crazy impaired mentality I have in mind. I mean, he's got contingencies for not just well-known threats like Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn, but he's even got backups for Condiment Man, and not making that up at all. Anyway, that's all I'll say for now. I'll see you all again soon, so happy Batman Day.